What I was saying that for a devotee, it is much means for a disciple, it is important to understand what is God. And in Vedanta society, when first people come, people see Bhagavan as a human being who is, you can say that he is more like Sattik, he is doing good to the people. Then they understand he is a spiritual master, he is a spiritual teacher who preaches Vedanta. So they, it happened with us also. When we started going to Bhagavan, at the initial stage, we understand Bhagavan as he's a very beautiful person, nice person, beautiful person who helps people. We understand him like that. So at that time, we were very young, just around the age of 17, 18, like that. So we started calling him, addressing him as uncle. So later, as we started going to him more, we came to know that he speaks Vedanta. And he made us interested to learn about Vedanta. He made us curious about Vedanta. So we became more curious about Vedanta. What is Vedanta? What is this philosophy? And with the very lucid illustration, when Bhagavan explained about Vedanta, the big theories of Vedanta, the very difficult theories of Vedanta, with the help of stories, with much illustrations, when we can understand logically, and we found logic, that in everything there is a logic. So when we started to understand this, we got much interested in Vedanta. So to us, Bhagavan was a speaker of Vedanta or a teacher of Vedanta. Then the address changed. Our respect also changed about him. We found him as a teacher, as a guru. So we started addressing him as Guruji. No more Kaku, no more uncle. Kaku is the meaning of uncle. So no more uncle. We started addressing him as Guruji. So at that time, he was a spiritual teacher. He was a Vedanta teacher who speaks about Vedanta. And we also started going to him to learn more about Vedanta. And going to him, learning about Vedanta, getting involved into this subject, became more and more curious. The Bhagavan's process of teaching is like this, that Bhagavan make one very curious. When you become very curious about a subject, you will find out your own way to teach yourself. So Bhagavan always inspired people, and he made people very curious about the subject. He made us curious about the subject. He always didn't say everything to us. He sometimes put us some questions. He gave us some questions to us. He didn't answer. Sometimes we had some questions, we had some doubts. We went to him, we asked the question. Bhagavan just abruptly sashes the question. No, you are not supposed to know it now. You are not qualified to know it now. Like that, Bhagavan just didn't answer. But that doesn't stop us, because we are curious. Every human being, when they are very curious, they try to find out newer way. So we also started to develop newer way to know, to get the answer of our questions. So what is the newer way? To study a little more, to practice it in our life a little more. Like that way, Bhagavan's way of process of preaching Vedanta was like this: make people inspire for this life, make people curious about the subject. So they will develop their own way. So it worked with us, and still it is working in Vedanta society. In Vedanta society, we usually preach Vedanta like this. Nowadays also, if you go to Bhagavan, you will find that Bhagavan is talking to you very little. Most of the time, Bhagavan speaks Bengali, so you don't understand. But in Bengali also, Bhagavan speaks Vedanta very little. Bhagavan develops a curiosity among you, among the disciples. So it is still the stage of disciple, not devotee, disciple and the guru. So we are curious, we are going to guru, the spiritual teacher who preaches about Vedanta, and we started to live with this. So to know Vedanta, it is very important to develop your life in such a way that you happen to be always with the thoughts of Vedanta. This is the art that you have to work on yourself. You have to design your life, the lifestyle, in such a way so that you do not dissociate yourself from Vedanta. You always associate yourself with the thoughts of it. So this is very important, that you continue to think about Vedanta always, round the clock. Almost the 24 hours you are thinking about Vedanta. You are working everything, you are doing all the work that you're supposed to do in this phenomenal world, but in the inner world, inside in your mind, you remain always with the thought of Vedanta. So when a disciple develops up to this stage, things changes. So it changed with us also, that when you start to live the life of Vedantic, you live the life 24 hours a day with the thoughts of Vedanta, then the door of the realization opens to you. The realization happens to come to you. The spiritual realization happens to come to you. This is the blessing of Guru. This is known as the blessing of Guru. That Guru has inspired you in such a way, he has pushed you to that level when you are bound to think about Vedanta, about that supreme truth, about Brahman only. So you are thinking about that continuously, you are thinking on this. So when you go on thinking about this continuously, then you are developed. Then the door of realization opens. Then some realizations with some disciples does happen. When the realization happens, they understand, they discover that about Bhagavan. I'm specially referring this with Bhagavan only. So you have to understand, it doesn't mix up with the other gurus. This is very special. So the disciple, this case happened with us also, that the disciple at that stage, when they realize, they discover that this is not a very simple case. He's not just a guru. He's not just a spiritual guru who is preaching Vedanta, and make one realize the truth. This is not as simple as it is. It is not like just the other spiritual gurus. The things in Vedanta society, the things with Bhagavan is completely different one and very special one. When someone realizes, of course, the realization has to be with some depth. If the realization happens to be a small one, just qualitatively, I have to say this, qualitatively, if the realization is not with that much depth, then he thinks, okay, he's a guru. But when the realization is with much depth, the spiritual realization comes with much depth, they then understand he is not just a guru. Bhagavan is not just a guru. Bhagavan is not just a common man. This is a very special phenomenon. How they understand? They understand because of themselves. When they understand that, yes, I have not practiced that, what I supposed to do as spiritual practice, still, just like a miracle, it's a spiritual miracle that had happened with me, as if with the magic wind, Bhagavan has transformed me from a common person to a spiritual person. The transformation had happened in me, and I had realized myself. I have realized the supreme truth of Brahman. Yes, of course, there are degrees. Remember, the qualitative degrees are there. So, when that had happened, that means this is a special case, and they also understand that as because means this is not a very easy thing to lead a life, remain with everything, still you are motivated, you have motivated yourself, and you have Brahman only with with the Vedanta work on. So this is a very special thing. When people come to know about it, when people realizes this, they change. They get changed. They understand that Bhagavan is not just a spiritual guru. So they turn themselves as devotee. From disciple, they elevate themselves on the class of devotee. They realize him as Bhagavan. So they started, this happened with us, that we, after realization also, for few years, we continued to address Bhagavan as Guruji, as a spiritual teacher. So it continued till 2003. Yes, of course, in the year 1996, 97, we started calling him Bhagavan sometimes. But still, we happen to, it's just like a shifting. Sometimes Guruji, sometimes Bhagavan, it's like that. And after after 2003, when the Ananda Utsav happened, after then, we straightway started addressing him as Guruji. We regarded him as Guruji, as Bhagavan, not as Guruji anymore. From Ananda Utsav 2003, that is February 23rd. After then, we started, because if he is not Bhagavan, if he is not Bhagavan, the incarnation, then this kind of spiritual wonders won't have been possible. This is not the, what is the difference? The difference is of power. Like it's beautifully said, a 100-watt bulb has the capacity to illumine like 100 meters. A 1,000-watt bulb, of course, it can illuminate with much density of light. It can illuminate about 100 square meters, 1,000 square meters more. So the more the capacity increases, the things happens to be changed. So this happens with Guru also. So all the spiritual gurus has a limited capacity. When the capacity is maximum, then usually we regard that guru as the incarnation. That we find, yes, he has manifested to the fullest. So he is the incarnation of that supreme truth. As if the supreme truth is inevitable here. You can, by seeing Bhagavan, it is so much true that just by seeing Bhagavan, if you have that kind of heart, if you have that kind of purity in your heart, and if you can see Bhagavan in that way, then see Bhagavan as Brahman, the manifested Brahman in front of you. Then you don't need to realize Brahman by samadhi, through samadhi. You don't need to realize Brahman through samadhi. You are seeing Bhagavan. So this happened with the gopis, with Lord Krishna. The gopis used to go to Lord Krishna. They did all the divine plays. They did lot of mischiefs also with Lord Krishna. But in their heart, in their pure heart, they always knew that he is God. So it was very habitable to them. It was illumined to them. So they always knew that he is God. They always feel that he is God. So there is nothing, they didn't have to understand Lord Sri Krishna as God through samadhi. Rather, just by seeing Lord Sri Krishna, they realized, yes, he is God. So this is the beauty. When a disciple understands like that, elevated himself up to that, he becomes a devotee of Bhagavan. So in Vedanta society, let me tell you one story. One time it happened in the year probably 1999, like that. Remember, as I said, that we started addressing Bhagavan as Bhagavan from 2003. Before 2003, we used to address him as Guruji, as a spiritual teacher. Yes, we do understand. At that time also, we had the realization, we have the feeling that yes, he is God, he is the incarnation, he is Bhagavan. But we were hesitated. We had some reservations. We hesitated to call him. So let me tell you a very beautiful divine story from Bhagavan's life. It happened, that Bongaigaon. It was the story from Bongaigaon, the small city of Assam. So in Bongaigaon, at that time we didn't have any ashram. And Swami Ramananda, Swami Ramananda is from Bongaigaon, that's town. And Swami Ramananda took sannyas in 2003 November. Swami Ramananda, Swami Premananda and Gangananda, they took sannyas on 2003. Though Premananda is much junior, but Bhagavan just gave him sannyas in 2003. Premananda actually joined in 2003 Vedanta Society. He came to Bhagavan in 2003, but Bhagavan considered him, and he made him sannyasi in 2003 itself. So Ganganandaji and Ramanandaji was started going to Bhagavan from much earlier days. So Bhagavan it was probably the year 2000, I think. Bhagavan went to that town and to a devotee's house he was staying. And in that devotee's house, the wife of the devotee, she was also, means the couple was devotee. Both husband and wife, they both were the devotee of Bhagavan and very good devotee. The wife had a desire to prepare food for Bhagavan. She wanted to prepare food for Bhagavan, but in India, means especially this culture, that sometimes, means mostly the women used to prepare the food with much oil, much sugar, and all these things. Lot of ingredients they used to put, lot of spices they used to put. So with Bhagwan, as because Bhagwan is a diabetic patient, so we never allowed any woman to cook for Bhagwan. So we prepared the Bhagwan's food by ourselves. So in Bongaigaon, there was a devotee, a young boy. He used to cook for Bhagwan. So everywhere there are some boys who used to cook for Bhagwan. We didn't allow women devotees because they are very emotional, and to make the food very beautiful and nice, they put lot of oil, lot of spices like this thing. So, but in that house, in that devotee, the lady, she had the desire, she wanted to prepare food. So she knew that we won't allow her to do that. So what she did, every day she prayed to Bhagwan in the altar, sitting in front of Bhagwan's picture. She prayed in his to the picture of Bhagwan, that Bhagwan, in this life I just had one wish, that I wanted to prepare food for you. I'll prepare the food perfectly for you, not spicy, not oil, not sugar, all these things, but you please permit me just for once. She continuously prayed for years, and she prayed it, and her husband didn't knew about that. She prayed it in her home, in the altar with the picture of Bhagavan. She always prayed. So when Bhagavan, after a year later, when Bhagavan went to their house, he stayed 2 days at their house. On the second day, morning, Bhagavan used to go out for morning walk in the early morning. So when in the morning, when Bhagavan wake up and after having tea, when he was supposed to go for the morning walk, and a lot of devotees were about to go with him, then Bhagavan suddenly turned to her, to that lady, and said to her that the last 1 year you have prayed to me. Remember, she never expressed to anybody, not even Bhagavan, not even to her husband, that she is praying. She is praying. Bhagavan told her that you are praying to my photo always, that you want to prepare food. So today I am granting you the permission. Today you will be preparing my food. Then Bhagavan just left. So she got mad that how Bhagavan could know this. It is a very secret event to her, very closely held this secret. She only knows by herself, no one else knows, but Bhagavan knew. So she started preparing food, and she was very, that we had the very strict rule, and we were hawking on her that whether she is putting much oil or not. So it was like that. But she prepared that Bhagwan's food nicely. She prepared a lot of curries, lot of things, lot of vegetables, a lot of dishes. She prepared a lot of dishes. And in the afternoon, when she was supposed to, Bhagwan, that Bhagwan is very punctual, and he always goes with the routine. In the afternoon at 1 o'clock, he's supposed to sit for his lunch. So Bhagwan got ready for his lunch. So when the lunch is served, Bhagwan suddenly said, "Open the door." We usually close the door. No one is supposed to enter into that room. while Bhagavan is eating, having his food. So Bhagavan said, open the door, open all the windows, let everybody see what I'm taking today. And he then asked the lady, today, before you offer me the food, today you worship me first. So she garlanded Bhagavan, she does arti with the light, with instances. She did a arti of Bhagavan. Then she offered the food. Nicely decorated plate, on a nicely decorated plate with lot of bowls with all the vegetables, curries, dishes, lot of dishes. So what Bhagavan did, Bhagavan asked Sujata Chakravarti, the Sujata madam whom we call, is a very beautiful, another very beautiful devotee from Bangayao. She sings very beautifully. She is a very beautiful devotee. She is one of the trustee body member of Vedanta Society. Because of her devotion, Bhagavan has made her a trustee body member. So she is one of the senior female devotee. So Bhagavan asked her to sing. So she started singing Krishna Manamohana, that song. That's a patent song of Sujata madam. So Sujata Chakravarti, she started singing that song, and while singing, the food is offered. And what Bhagavan did, Bhagavan, over the rice, you know that Bhagavan used to have rice in the afternoon, in the lunch. Over the rice, he put all the dishes there together. He put all the bowls, dal, sabji, like all the dishes together on the same rice. Then he just mixed those, took a very small portion of that, just one bite like that. The sound is off. Can you hear me?
We didn't hear you, Swamiji.
After mixing the rice.
After mixing the rice.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
It's okay now. You can hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Now you can. Hello, hello, hello. If the sound comes, then you let me know that yes.
Now we hear you, Swamiji.
Okay.
After mixing
Let
the
me
rice.
continue again. So after mixing everything, Bhagavan just took a small bite. Then he said that this is the Mahaprasad. You give to everybody, all the devotees, all the devotees. Everyone should get at least one rice, at least one rice. So like that. So hundreds of devotees were there. Everybody was occupying every window portion, door portion like that to see Bhagavan in that way. Bhagavan. So we took the plate with that prasad. We started distributing everybody. And remember, Bhagavan has not ate at that time. He just took a small portion. So after this is finished, after some time later, means a few minutes later, Bhagavan then said to the lady that, see, I have not eaten, so give me food now. Now that lady got mad. She was like, she actually prepared all the dishes just of that quantity which Bhagavan usually takes. He didn't prepare much. She just prepared small quantities just for Bhagavan, and she gave everything to Bhagavan. Now she ran back to the kitchen again. She somehow all the rest of the portion of the curry, rest of the portion of the dal, whatever it remained, very little quantities, she again organized everything and offered to Bhagavan. So after having that food, after finishing his lunch, Bhagavan came out of the room and all the devotees were crowded in front of his room, and he came out of the room. He was supposed to go to the basin to wash his mouth and hands. He then turned to Maharaji, our President Maharaji, and said, Maharaj, what you have witnessed today, express yourself. So Maharaji then said, today I am saying, today I am the president of International Vedanta Society. Today I am saying that I give full witness with all the authority that you are God. You are God. You are Bhagavan. So Maharaji expressed this feeling with all the authority. He is a devotee, so a devotee only has the power to authorize, yes, he is God. So Maharaji authorized that. He is God. Bhagavan smiled. Bhagavan went inside to the basin, refresh himself, come back and smiled to Maharaji again. So Maharaji, are you sure enough? Are you confirming me that I am God? Remember that time we used to address him as Guruji. Maharaji then again said that, yes, Bhagavan, I'm confirming you that you are God. And today I'm announcing this to everybody, to the whole world, that you are God, you are Bhagavan. So this was of the year 2000, I think. After another 3 years later, from 2003, we started calling him, addressing him, Bhagavan, as Bhagavan. So this is the thing, that from a devotee, from a disciple, you have to elevate your awareness, you have to elevate your realizations to a devotee. Then only your spiritual means, when you will become a devotee, then in Vedanta society you will continue to survive. Otherwise, if you still remain as a disciple only, then maybe sometime later you may evaporate from Vedanta society. This is a very strange place. You cannot continue to remain in Vedanta society just as a disciple, just knowing Bhagavan as a spiritual teacher who teaches Vedanta. No, you cannot continue like that. After some time later, something will happen. Bhagavan usually said to us, that preparing tea, you need a screener to just suck the tea leaves, and the water, the juice comes out the way. So what does this call?
Strainer.
What?
Is it a strainer?
Sorry, I didn't got you. Means, have you understood this?
Filter, Swamiji.
Filter, yes. Not, okay, filter, maybe it can be. So it's like that, that Bhagavan used to say that, yes, in Vedanta society also, the God himself, like the Supreme God himself, sometimes does the filtration process, cleans up the thing. The devotees remains here, and the disciples or the followers, he just filters them out and throw them out of Vedanta society. So sometimes something happens in Vedanta society. It's like a whirlpool. Something will happen, and sometimes people will have this idea, oh, this is a crazy place. This is not a suitable place for me. So let me just find out my own way. I'll find spirituality in somewhere else. So they live Vedanta society. This happens almost every year. This comes and this happens almost every year. So this is a very strange place. So you have to work it out. You have to elevate yourself from a disciple to a devotee. So today Mirama's question is a very important question. So I explained it in this way. Probably you liked it.
Yes, Swamiji.
It's important, Swamiji.
Yes, it's very important. So you can share these discussions with others also, but not everything. Not everything. No, the gist, because that may inspire other disciple to turn themselves, to elevate themselves to the state of devotees.
Because people might think that, oh, disciple is the highest, and then they grow ego, and then they forgot how to surrender more.
So in Vedanta society, another important thing is Bhagavan used to say, even to us also, he sometimes say, you know that it is said that the best devotee of Lord Ram is Hanuman. In Indonesia, you have the culture of Ramayana, so you know Hanuman. So Hanuman was the best devotee. He was a monkey, the monkey. He was the best devotee of Lord Ram. And Hanuman used to pray every day to Lord Ram that please do not allow my heart always to be surrendered to you. Do not make it polluted by anything else, so that it happens that one day I might leave you. I don't want to leave you. So make this possible only to be with you, continue to be with you. So you must pray. Bhagavan used to say to us that, even to us also, that he used to say that always, every day you pray to the Supreme God, pray to me, that you continue to be a devotee of me. Every day you surrender yourself. Every day you say that ego should not make you a hindrance, that you doesn't remain a devotee anymore. So you continue to pray that, Bhagavan, I want to continue with you rest of my life. So thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Jai
Swamiji.
Bhagavan.
Beautiful sharings. Jai Bhagavan.
Thank you.
Thank
Jai
you
Thank you,
so
Annie.
much.
Jai Bhagavan.
Thank you, Annie.
Jai.
Annie.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Don't go, Annie. Mana, show me your face. Annie,